This is the Process Shot. I'm Michael. I'm not Vengeance. And I've seen The Batman, a new superhero action movie from director Matt Reeves. In this newest adaptation of the classic character, Batman has been working as a vigilante for about 2 years, instilling fear into the hearts of criminals. That doesn't stop someone from murdering Gotham City's mayor, leaving a note for Batman and a trail to follow. As this criminal, who calls himself the Riddler, continues a string of murders, and despite the help of Police Lieutenant Jim Gordon and local cat burglar Selina Kyle, Batman is pulled into the criminal underworld of Gotham by the Riddler's clues, and comes to learn the truth of the city's power structure, the secrets and lies of the wealthy, and what could potentially bring the end of the Batman as he knows it. I'm describing the story poorly, but that doesn't stop it from being altogether engaging and compelling. It does play out over nearly 3 hours of runtime, but it manages to make every moment feel necessary thanks to the tight writing and plotting. Each scene leads fluidly into the next, with few, if any, outright narrative jumps in time, ultimately following the one major storyline pitting Batman against the Riddler, while weaving in a number of character arcs over time. They don't all get solid payoffs by the end, but there's still a sense of development within all of these. Batman himself has the clearest sense of progression, of course, falling in line with the movie's greater themes of vigilantism, obsession, and the ongoing fight for justice, which in itself is made a conceptual struggle between morality, amorality, and immorality, represented by Batman, Selina, and the Riddler respectively. The performances at hand are also memorable, with Robert Pattinson as a stoic and somewhat dense Batman, focused much more on the tasks at hand than the bigger picture, or in a few cases, basic human emotions. The Riddler, as portrayed by Paul Dano, is effectively his opposite, driven by anger to the point of psychosis, and willing to do what it takes to bring someone down to his perspective. They and others give the film a tone that balances the grittiness of a noir mystery drama with an exaggerated sense of symbolism and dark comedy that could be considered campy. Being within the superhero genre, there's a heavy amount of high-flying action thrown in for good measure. Speaking of noir and action, the visual stylings of the movie are also handled excellently, to the point that they are in themselves enough to justify the film's existence. Cinematography is definitely the highlight here, with the best shots of the movie capturing the physical scale of events or showing the perspectives of characters in creative and often unusual manners. The color choices within many shots will contrast bright lights and heavy shadows for dramatic effect, though they are still composed well enough that you can see the characters you're meant to focus upon. The movie as a whole makes heavy use of dark, almost pitch-black shadows, which is not only in line with Batman himself as he operates from these areas, but it also makes for a visually dark film, which only brings out further visual symbolism and storytelling as Batman is brought out from the shadows over time. Meanwhile, the film's music is generally appropriate for whatever plays out on screen, dynamic in its composition and in sync with the action, but not quite enough to really stick out in my mind. Sound design in general is well handled, but I'm not really knowledgeable enough on that subject to say how, exactly. All I can say is that overall, everything does come together to cement the film's greater emotional tone. This is a story that manages to have it both ways, being able to not take itself too seriously as high art, but still have something original to say and explore within Batman's character and his mythos as a whole. Altogether, I feel that this movie makes for a great origin story, even if it does start well after Batman has already begun his vigilante work, and is certainly an indication of good things to come, assuming the inevitable sequel manages to hit the same marks as this one. The Batman, Matt Reeves, 2022. 4.5 stars. I definitely recommend seeing this when you can. That's it for this review. If you liked it, leave a like. If you have something to add, leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews. I think this might be the first superhero movie I've gotten while I've been here. I wonder why. Actually, if there's still a Marvel vs. DC war going on, that's probably why.